Today are some musings about being a parent of non-human children. So what do I mean by that? In my example, we have what I call a blended family. I have stepchildren, we have horses, dogs, and chickens on the non-human side of the family. And we call the horses and the dogs and the chickens, but more probably the dogs and horses, we call them our children. So whilst they are not biologically our children, and we are aware that because they are a different species, they do have certain needs. So there's certain things that you just need to respect. Like, for instance, a horse is bigger than you, stronger than you. And so you wouldn't deal with them in the same way that you would deal, exactly the same way that you would deal with, like, a horse baby is different to deal with that than to a human baby. But respect is the common denominator around amongst all the relationships. So that's the way I see it. But it is interesting when you talk to people and they say, do you have children of your own? And I say, no, because I actually don't have any biological children of my own. And it's predominantly the women. There often seems to be oh, I'm sorry, like you're less than. It's like there's a judgment attached if you're a woman and you don't have biological children of your own. So for anyone else who has experienced that, I'm just saying that I have also experienced that. So you're not alone, you're not Robinson Crusoe, and I often think that just knowing you're not Robinson Crusoe is the easiest way of dealing with things. Sometimes when there's something that comes up, you can think, oh my goodness, I am the only one in the world who has ever come across this situation. And just talking to people and knowing that you're not, can often just help diffuse some of the ickiness around it. So if somebody says to you, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have biological children, the biggest tip with that would be just don't make it significant. And if you're okay with that, it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. There can be a number of reasons why you don't have biological children, and that is something just for you, and it's not anyone else's business. So don't make it significant and don't hang on to it. The other interesting thing, and this is also among the terms along the lines of judgment as well. I was talking to somebody recently, and I actually referred to our dogs as the little kids, and she sort of looked at me and said, "Are you referring to your dogs?" And I said, "Yeah, because we do. The horses we refer to as the big kids, and you can actually hear the little kids in action right now. The horses we refer to as the big kids because they're much bigger and much taller. And whilst our dogs are, they're not little lap dogs, but we refer to them as little because, comparatively speaking, in terms of size, they are much smaller than the horses." So now I didn't ask this girl any further questions. I just left it at that when she said, "Oh, you mean the dogs?" But I actually felt quite judged by that. I actually felt that she was judging that I was referring to the dogs as children. So when I say I'm referring to our dogs as children, I am always very aware that they are non-human, and that they do have different requirements than a human child would have. I mean, hey, just look on the upside, you don't have to go to any PTA meetings for them. Of course, they're not going to be at school, though some do doggy daycare, but that's nothing. But, in terms of our family and what I see our family as, I see our family as a place where we can nurture and be nurtured. And so to me, the dogs, when I refer to them as kids, that's because they are part of the nurturing relationship. So there is that symbiotic relationship. As I nurture them, they also nurture me too. You know, there's nothing like if you've had a day where you're sort of really struggling, and you come home to a beautiful doggy smile and a doggy cuddle. Horsey hugs are also very nice as well. So yeah, so that's just, and it's your life. Make it whatever works for you. So if you're a fur parent and that is what you have chosen, and that's nobody else's business. And I guess same thing, don't make it significant. Now I'm only mentioning that this so I can share that because once again the Robinson Crusoe factor. It's not something, it's a choice that I've made to not have human children, and I certainly feel I am very blessed in family, and I'm certainly blessed in the cuddles, and I feel that there's a lot of affection in our family, and that there's certainly a lot of hugs and cuddles and support. I certainly also feel very supported by the four-footed, hooved and pawed members, as much as the two-footed ones. Like, my father suffered ill health for a number of years before he died, and there were times when I would go and see Dole. She was stabled just near where my parents were living at the time, and you know, she was an amazing support to me. Like, it was, you know, there was a time I remember, you know, I was upset because it looked like there was a crisis in Dad's health, and I was around at Dole's when I got the message, and I had to drop everything and rush over to my parents, and I was upset, and I was talking to Dole, and Dole, when I'd wallowed in it for, you know, a minute or so, Dole then walked off, which was the perfect response for me, because that was, if I'd kept going, I would have been wallowing in it, but I needed to express it, I needed to get it out there, and I needed to move on. So enjoy your families, whether they be furred, pawed, or hooved, or feet, and make sure that you nurture yourself, because it's one of those things that is really hard to give nurturing if you're not nurturing yourself first. So nurture yourself, enjoy your families, and have a good week. Okay, bye.